Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary with the Get Some podcast. And my guest this week is...
This motherfucker Gary.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. Let's start off with my schedule, like we do every week. This weekend, I'm in Chicago, Illinois. Well, it's Schaumburg at the Improv. Every show sold out, so we added a 3:30 p.m. show on Saturday, the 17th, because it's Father's Day, man. It's a big weekend for comedians. Now, I'm hoping we had another one Sunday, and I told them I'm willing to stay Monday. Just because they said there's staffing issues. It's, people don't know this, but with comedy clubs, most comedians just want to add shows because you want to make as much money as you can. You're flying into a city. The problem is sometimes comedy clubs, they can't staff it because when you add a show, waiters and waitresses, cooks, they all got to come in early or stay late. And Sunday they said they're having a small issue, but it's Father's Day. So some people don't want to come in early because they want to spend time with their dad. I don't have that issue because my dad's a dick. Anyways, so hopefully we'll add Sunday or Monday, but we just added 3:30 on Saturday because all the other shows are gone. And then I'm in Des Moines, Iowa on the 21st at the Funny Bone. That one's almost sold out, but there's still some tickets. The 22nd in Omaha, we sold out the first show, so we added a 9:45 show in Omaha. So, yep, 9:45 in Omaha. And then I'm in Kansas City, June 23rd through the 25th. Shout out to Travis Kelce. And June 30th through July 2nd, I'm in Portland, Oregon at Helium Comedy Club. Ain't been there in forever. And then July 6th through the 9th, I'm in Austin, Texas at the Cap City Comedy Club. And then July 13th through the 16th, I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Helium Comedy Club. And then July 22nd, I'm in Las Vegas at the Pearl Theater that's inside the Palms Casino. So that's my upcoming schedule. So last week, shouts out to Oklahoma City. Would I have 5 shows? Would I have 5 or 6? I had 5 or 6. We sold out 4 or 5. 4 of the 5 we sold out. 1, I don't know, just didn't make it. We were close. Crowds are fire. The one thing about Oklahoma, man, it's whenever you shoot a movie in a city, like I shot Gotti in Seoul, which is on Hulu, Amazon Prime, and anywhere else you can download movies. Go see that. That came out last month. Whenever you go back to a city after you shot a movie there, it feels like it's almost like a second home because, I spent 2-3 months in Oklahoma City shooting that movie, and then you come back and you your favorite little coffee spots, restaurants. You kind of know the city a little bit. So it's always cool. And I will say, one thing I will say about this country, when a disaster happens, we have come up with some of the best monuments you can come up with, because that Oklahoma City monument from the bombing, that one. If you ever go to Oklahoma City, that is worth the trip at night. Go at night when it's all lit up, because there's all these little subtle meanings to everything. The way the chairs are placed, the time on the wall is the exact time, how many people pass. There's all these little things that mean something at these monuments, just like the World Trade Center, that monument. One thing about this country, man, when tragedy strikes and things get torn down, we can build some monuments. I'd say that. But that Oklahoma City one, I don't think there's a better one out there. Just to honor the victims, and it's just. And if you ever go, don't go during the day. Go at night. So much better at night, the way it's lit up. But yeah, that was good. So thank you for everyone in Oklahoma City. Tulsa came. A lot of people from Tulsa came down to see me. Shouts out to Burn by Rocky Patel. It's my favorite cigar bar. There's if you like cigars, you can't go wrong if you can find a Burn by Rocky Patel. Those cigar bars are they run it top notch. And the thing about those burns, they're in interesting cities. They're not in all the major cities. They're like Pittsburgh's got one. Oklahoma City's got one. Naples, Florida has one. Indianapolis, Indiana has one. Atlanta's got one right next to the baseball stadium. I don't know where else there is one, but it's just interesting. They're not like in the major cities. They're in like, Atlanta's a major city, but like Oklahoma City, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis. I mean, big cities, but not like New York, L.A., Chicago type deal. But if you're ever in a city if you like cigars, you can't go wrong going to a burn by Rocky Patel. They just run it good. So anyways, shouts out to the Denver Nuggets, win the NBA title. I thought it'd be a sweep, 5 games. It was just they just had the better team. How do you not like the Joker? I mean, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure most of you watched the game Monday night, but he went and shook every single player's hand on the Miami Heat before he started celebrating. He even grabbed one guy who hadn't played the whole series, and he was kind of walking away from him, and Joker grabbed him and brought him back and made sure he shook his hand. And then the funniest part, though, I guess he thought he could leave right after the series was over, and they was like, no, the parade's Thursday. And he was like, what? He goes, oh, no. He goes, I got to get home. And then he even said, he goes, maybe, I guess he's got some horses. There's some horse race coming up. And I guess he said he was going to ask the owner of the Denver Nuggets to give him the jet to fly him home as soon as the parade's over. So we'll see if that happens. I think it will. I think he's the franchise player. I think they'll give him the jet to take him back to halfway across the earth, wherever he's living now. So I thought that was funny. And it was hard not to root for the Nuggets, man. God, they give me so much hope with my Bengals. I put a tweet out, and I said, Denver Nuggets NBA champions, first time ever. I was like, Cincinnati Bengals, Super Bowl champions, first time ever. I said, save this tweet, repost it in February. If you talk to people from Denver, they'll all say, we never saw this coming. We never thought the Nuggets would win an NBA title. Broncos have, Avalanche have, well, the Rockies haven't. But now, I mean, that whole area is like a sports mecca, because you got Dion came in for the Buffaloes. That's only 30 minutes away. Boulder is. And now the hockey team won an NHL title last year, the year before. And, Broncos had a down year, but they got a new coach. They got Sean Payton got there. Russell Wilson have a better year than last year. I mean, the Nuggets, they're not going anywhere. Everybody's young and everybody wants to be there. They just seem like they got along really well. Everybody that they interviewed seemed like, they got along really well. So, how do you not root for that team? Yeah. So it gave me a little hope with the Bengals. I'm like, because, you got Joker, and they said, he's not going to – you can't put him in one of the greatest categories because he has never won a title. Now he has. Now you can mention him in the same breath as Shaq, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, even though Patrick Ewing never won a title. These great big men. I look at it like the only thing Joe Burrow hasn't done, and he's only been in the league 3 years, is win a Super Bowl. He's done everything else that nobody's done for the franchise. And that's always a knock on him when they try to compare him with Mahomes, even though he's a 3-1 head-to-head record. Is Mahomes got 2 Super Bowl wins, and Burrow doesn't. They both got a Super Bowl loss, so they're even there. So I was like, they're never going to say Burrow is an all-time great, but if he wins that title, yeah, he's an all-time great. I already think he's an all-time great. He's my favorite quarterback of all time, and I might be biased. And as you know, my podcast is always going to be Cincinnati Bengals heavy. But what I liked about this past week was the mandatory 3-day minicamp. But they finally interviewed Jonah Williams, who, for the novice fans, he was our left tackle the last couple of years. They traded for Orlando Brown Jr., who is just an unbelievable tackle. And then Jonah got moved to right tackle, and he requested a trade when this happened a few months ago. And now that he's finally in town talking to the media, he was just like, it was a communication thing. I'm rehabbing. I'm getting ready for the season. I'm not in town. Nobody told me they were going to make this free agent signing of Orlando Brown Jr. So he said, I saw it on my phone on Apple News. He goes, and then I just didn't know they were going to do it. So it was lack of communication. Nobody called me after to see what the plan was. He goes, so I asked to be traded. He said, so it was never left tackle moving to right tackle. He was like, I just wanted communication. And I think there's some truth to that. I think ego's involved. Your feelings are hurt. I get it. At the same time, if the Bengals would have came to you, would you have requested a trade immediately? So it's water under the bridge now. He's in town. He said he's 100% in this season. I hope he has a great season at right tackle. Orlando's at left. But our line looks strong, boy. I don't know about the depth. We still need a little depth. Wouldn't be mad if we had a couple free agent signings after all the preseason games. But if everybody's healthy, ooh-wee, get ready. And you know what I love about my team now is no drama. You don't ever hear about no real drama behind the scenes. Our biggest drama was Jonah Williams. And that wasn't really no drama. That was just a guy who's, feelings was hurt, and I completely understand it. And then now everybody's locked in. So now a few things happened this week. They're coming after Trump again. And I always say Trump lives his life like it's a WWE wrestling match. It's real, but it's not. So people love it when he gets indicted and they think he's going to jail. And I always say, like, he's not going to jail, guys. I don't know. He's just not. It's just news. It's a soap opera, but we know he's not really going to spend no time in jail. He's not going away. His pockets are too deep. He knows too many people. And if he did, it would probably be like an El Chapo. Not El Chapo. Who's the Colombian drug lord? Okay. I hate it when I do this. I brain fart too much. Jesus Christ. Who's Narcos? Who's Narcos? You guys are probably yelling at the radio right now. Pablo Escobar. Duh. It's probably like a Pablo Escobar situation. He'd probably have a suite. Guards be on payroll. He's eating steak and asparagus. Would have chicks coming in. So even if Trump went to jail, it's not hard time. Okay? So let's just slow down right there. People getting all fired up about that. It's not going to happen. Yeah, I almost think I'm almost at a point now where I think Trump just does stuff to stay in the public eye. He goes, hey, indict me. Yeah. That way I'll get more listeners and more viewers and I can speak and I'll have cameras in front of me because that guy is an egomaniac. So I'm almost looking at it like sometimes like, he's doing this on purpose? I don't know. The other thing that I saw this week, I don't know if you watched the Mayweather fight, the Mayweather versus the Gotti guy. It was odd. It was like the referee stopped it, and there's a couple things that's funny here right now. They say it's exhibition. Whenever Mayweather fights now, it's exhibition. So you got to look at exhibition like not real. So every time I watch a fight now, he's always got Kenny Bayless refereeing because I think Kenny Bayless is going to make sure Floyd doesn't get hurt. Not that Floyd needs any help in the ring at all. But this one was interesting because Kenny Bayless stops the fight too early. I think everybody agreed it was too early. The guy wasn't that hurt. And then the guy really came after Floyd and started and then it was chaos. He started swinging on Floyd after the fight was over. Floyd swings back. Nobody really got hit or knocked out. All this security jumps in, but nobody was really throwing punches like that. And I don't know if you remember when the fan man flew into the ring with Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield, and Riddick Bowe had this security guard, and he just starts pounding him with this walkie-talkie, right? Beating the shit out of this guy. None of that really happened. Really look at everybody in the ring. It was like there's a lot of pushing, a lot of talking shit, but nobody really was fighting like that. And then afterwards, there's this video of Jostling and Big Lex. They're fighting, and they were going at it, but nobody was really got hurt. Nobody really ever got hurt. You didn't see an ambulance pull up and people getting dragged away. No weapons were drawn. And here's the funny thing. And Roland Martin said it on Instagram. And when he said it, I go, I tell people the same thing. I tell people the same thing when Roland Martin said it. All this was part of the Zeus Network. The Zeus Network, the entire network is about drama. It's Bad Girls Club. It's like all these shows. I'm going to read off the list of shows on the Zeus Network, and that's where the fight was on. They want this to happen because if you notice, the cameras completely are rolling through all of it. All these scuffles and fights. People tune into the Zeus Network just to see drama and fights. Nobody would watch if everybody was just getting along. So they found a formula that works for their network, and they're running with it. And who am I to be like, I can't believe people watch it. If they're watching it, they're watching it. So these are the shows on the Zeus Network. Bad Boys of Texas. Baddies, West Reunion. Baddies West. Bobby, I Love You Purr. Bobby, I Love You Purr Reunion. Crazy in Love. That again is Blueface and Christian. What is it? Christian. Oh my God. I don't want to say her name wrong. Christian Rock, not Christian Rock. So it's them, and you've seen him get in fights and they get in arguments. Bad Boys of Houston, Bad Boys of Los Angeles. I mean, they're telling you bad boys, bad girls. It's like the whole network is fighting and arguing. So when the Floyd thing happened and I saw it was on the Zeus Network, I was like, what are the chances? And then I almost went, it was like a wink, wink. And then when you saw the fights backstage, as I do think, they can get out of hand. I think when you're having a fake fight and somebody gets hit a little too hard in a fake fight, then you can take it serious and it gets real. Think about what the network is. This wasn't on OWN. This wasn't on ESPN. This wasn't HBO, like sports. It's Zeus. It fit the script of what the network's all about. That network is all about fighting and drama. That nobody's tuning in to see people really fall in love and get along and shed a tear. No. They found, I think Lemmy Plummer is the head of the Zeus Network. And he came to me a couple years ago with a reality show. And I'm never one to judge anybody. If you find a formula that works, you run with it. And he found something that worked, and he took over the Zeus Network. And there's an audience, and this audience is buying monthly subscriptions. I'm looking at it right now, $5.99 a month, $5.99 a year. If that's where you want to spend your money, spend your money. So, but I watch it and I go, oh my God, this is the perfect script for this network. So just keep that in mind when you're watching the Floyd Mayweather fights. And I love Floyd to death. He's a great dude. But I'm sitting there going, another fight. Interesting. The outside of that drama, real drama, and this one I'm going to take my time on. So Marlon Wayans last week was flying. He was flying from Denver to Kansas City. He had shows last Friday in Kansas City. He was there all weekend. And I guess he had what we'll say, overzealous ticket agent. And and I'm only getting one side of the story. I'm only getting Marlon's side. Marlon said he had 3 bags. Marlon's in first class. The guy said you got to consolidate your bags into 2. So Marlon said he did that. And then they did, there's no more overhead room. You got to check your bag. And Marlon was like, what? He goes, so Marlon didn't want to check his bag. I guess he tried to get on the plane. He had words with the ticket agent. I'm not saying anybody cussed each other out. I'm saying they had words, a disagreement. And Marlon ended up getting taken off the flight, ended up missing his shows in Kansas City Friday. But I think he made one of them because he posted something on his story where he was at the Improv in Kansas City and he was telling everybody, F you, United. So here's what I think. Here's what I think happened. I think there's fault all the way around, and this could have been avoided completely. Listen, we're all comedians. We fly every week. I think Marlon's been traveling with 3 bags, and nobody has stopped him and said, hey, only 2 bags. I mean, for various reasons. He's in first, and he's Marlon Wayans. So he found a ticket agent that was trying to do everything by the book, which and his I'm pretty sure his tone wasn't friendly. But I'm sure Marlon was like, whoa. I flew here with 3 bags. Now I've flown probably the last 6 months with 3 bags. Now all of a sudden you want to abide by the rules and say I got to consolidate. And then Marlon had said when he consolidated the bags, then the guy got a phone call saying there's no more room in the overhead. So Marlon has to check his bags. Now, if you buy a first class seat, they should never say that. That's why you pay the extra money. You pay the extra money because you have your own bins up there. And if there isn't room, you put them in the little stand-up locker where the flight attendants put their stuff. But I think you pay the extra money in first. You need to be treated properly. So I see where Marlon's argument is, where he said they should have never run out of overhead room. I see maybe United's point where they're saying, hey, it's only 2 bags. He had 3. And I'm sure there was some back and forth there, and it got heated. And one thing, I'll just say to Marlon on this, I understand your side of things, but when you said I want everybody to boycott United, that's not happening. I don't care people that said they are going to boycott. They're not. They're not. They're just not. I'm not. You must be crazy. Where I live is United's hub. I can get anywhere almost on Earth direct in United. And as much as I like you, Marlon, if I got to fly from Houston to Phoenix, I'm not about to have a layover in Atlanta just so I can support. I'm sorry. And I think when you got a company like United okay, I'm going to look it up. Let's see how many employees United has. And you got to asshole one. And it happens, man. I'll tell a couple nightmare stories of my United employees. How many? Okay. Oh, my God. How many employees does United have? United in 2022, they have 92,795 employees. When you have that many employees, you're going to have some assholes that work for you. And you probably just caught one that day. And I know it sucks. It sucks. And if you're a comedian and we fly almost as much as flight attendants, we're going to get those. We're going to get those days. We're going to get those overzealous ticket agents, flight attendants that are taking their job way too serious. They shouldn't be in customer service. There's a lot of them that shouldn't be. But you got to admit, 90% of them are cool. Most people are cool. And you just got to weigh the is it worth it factor. Because in this case, and Marlon might not want to admit it, but if he looks back on it, he's probably like, that wasn't worth it. Because I lost money. Because he lost money because he lost out on shows in Kansas City. So in the end, the employee won at this point. I mean, even if Marlon says he's going to sue, he's not going to stop. And I'm going, it's a headache you didn't need. It's time out of your day. And we always say, money comes and goes. You can't get past time. You can't get back time. I don't want to waste my time on that. I'm just going to roll my eyes, cuss that dude out under my breath, maybe make a post once I land and I'm already in Kansas City. But in the moment, and I know it drives you crazy when you get those employees like that or those flight attendants like that. Trust me, I know. I've seen it. But a company with 92,000 employees, you're going to have some dickheads. We all know that. Okay, I'll just tell a couple not nightmare, but stories flying. I posted years ago when my ex got stereotyped on a Delta flight from Cincinnati to San Francisco. They said first class line up, and the flight attendant literally looked at her and said, "Are you first class?" And my ex was like, "Yeah." And then he said, "Can you show me your ticket?" And she showed him the ticket, and he didn't ask anybody else were they in first when they were in line. And so my ex asked him, she was like, "Are you going to ask anybody else?" He goes, "No." And he goes, "Why not?" He goes, "Because I don't have to. I don't want to." And she was like, "Huh." She goes, so she was the only black lady in line, only black person in first on that flight, and he asked her, "Ma'am, this is a first class line. She'd be boarding. So I remember I made a post to Delta. Now she boarded, her and my daughter. I remember when they landed, my daughter was like, tell him, Mom. So she told me what happened. And then my daughter's like, know what you going to do about it, Dad? I was like, oh, my God. My daughter was just on me. I said, I'm gonna do what all white people do. I'm going to make a post. I'm not going to. And she got an asshole, and probably a racist asshole at Delta. But I don't want anybody. I wasn't asking people to boycott Delta because of that. Now, one thing I will say, somebody from Delta called me, and they never did make it right. They said they were going to send me some gift bag and put some points on, and Delta never did anything. And I didn't feel like calling back over this. Like, the lady called me initially, apologized, said we'd like to send you something. They asked for my address. She had my Sky Miles number, and she goes, okay, we're going to send you an apology gift, basically. I never got a thing. I never got nothing from Delta. Didn't get an apology gift. No miles were deposited into my account, which seems like the easiest fix. And Marlon said that when United called him, they weren't really trying to make it right in his eyes. So he wanted to keep going. And Marlon made about 25 posts on Instagram. It was nonstop. But the only thing is, I'm with them on the post. I'm with them on the anger, with them all that. But to ask people to boycott United, I'm like, they're not. They're just not. All these people, and even the people that said they were, they're not. They're not going to boycott them. I guarantee you, people that even had said, yeah, I'm with you, Martin, I'm going to boycott United. I guarantee I see them on a United flight in the next year or two if I knew who they were. You can't tell me, like, when you're trying to travel, oh, my God, you're going for the cheapest flight or the most direct flight. That's what you're looking at when you're looking at airlines. That's what I do. What's going to get me there the fastest, and what's the most cost-effective flight? I don't care what airline, honestly. But I fly United so much now because it's the hub. And I'm like, there's another incident. Now, keep in mind, most of my incidents in the past was on Delta just because I flew them so much. So I would be naive to think if I fly Delta, there's 52 weeks in a year. I'm on an average of 2 flights every weekend. That's over 100 flights I'm going to be on. So you take that with how many ticket agents I'm going to run into, how many flight attendants I'm going to run into, even in the Sky Club, you're going to get some dicks. You're going to get some assholes. And you just got one that day, and it sucks. I remember one time I was flying Delta, and the lady, so I landed in Atlanta. I had like 4 hours till my flight. I looked up at the monitor, and I saw there was another flight to Cincinnati in like 30 minutes. So I ran over to that gate, and I'll never forget, I asked the lady, I said, hey, I'm on the 5 p.m. flight. Can I get on this 1:30 flight? She goes, do you have bags? I said, yeah, but I'm fine if they come in late. She goes, well, you can't board if you have checked bags. I go, oh, no. I said, I showed her my phone. I go, I'm Diamond. I go, you can go if you're Diamond. She goes, well, sir, if you're Diamond, then you should know you can't get on a flight without your bags. And I was like, I just held my composure, and I was like, I'll just call the 800 number, whatever I said. I'll just call customer service. And literally she said, and tell them Diane sent you. And I was like, I didn't say it, but I just looked at her like, okay. So now they're starting to board. I'm on hold. I get off hold. The lady gets on the phone. And I'm talking right next to where I'm making up this name, Diane lady. Now she's checking people onto the plane, right? And I'm sitting right by her. And long story short, I got on the flight. So I'm going, oh my God, are you serious? I'm on this flight? I was told I couldn't get on it. You're telling me I'm on it? And then right before I hung up, I said, oh, yeah. Diane sent me. And she stopped taking people's tickets and looked back and goes, sir, grow up. So now I'm in my zone. Now, not only did I get on, I got on first too. So I was in first on the 5 o'clock flight. But as you know, when you fly, if you try to switch flights, you might have to give up that first class to get in coach. I was willing to do that to get home earlier. And I got upgraded that quick. I was like, no way. So now I'm in line, and I'm looking at my phone, and the guy behind me is dying laughing. He's losing his shit. And this chick, she could see me coming, and she was not looking forward to taking my ticket. And I go, oh, my God, I'm on this flight. I was told I couldn't get on this flight. This is crazy, and I'm first. I can't believe this. And the guy behind me is losing it. When I tell you she took I put my phone down, and then the thing came up, zoop, zoop, that I got upgraded to first. It came out a little bin. She had to rip that thing out and hand it to me. She was not happy. But when I got on the plane, I was real quiet. I just sat onto my seat, and then I saw her. You know how the ticket agents, they board, and then they come on the plane? She was just eyeballing me the whole time. I'll tell you this, she was looking for a reason to kick me off. Looking for it. Here's the kicker. Got first, and my bag made it. My bag made my flight. I was like, now, to this, and it was crazy because every time I went to Atlanta, I would see her. I would see that same lady. You know how big the Atlanta airport is? I'm talking about for the next year, I fly through Atlanta, and at least 3 times I'd see her. I was like, what was her problem that day? It wasn't that she wasn't telling me the truth. It was just the way she said it. And I'm sure that's what Marlon was going through. I'm sure the way that guy was talking to Marlon, it was not in a friendly tone. It was probably matter of fact. And who knows? The guy might not Marlon for a joke or a movie, or he's jealous, or it could have been a racial thing. I don't know. But the way Marlon put it, he was targeting everything. I don't want to automatically assume it's race. It's a lot of things. Guy just could have been jealous of Marlon, of who he was. The guy might have always been, if I ever get a celeb, yeah, I'm going to let him know I'm running this shit. It might have been one of those things. And it sucks. But you just have to, listen, I ain't going to tell Marlon what to do. I'm just saying, for me, I'm always going to weigh, like, is it worth it? Is it worth it to, like, get in an argument, or I don't know. It's like, and United here's the thing about United too. They hold a firm line on that 45 minutes. If you're checking a bag, I don't care if it's 44, because I'll tell you one time I had a show in Vegas, and I was flying from Cincinnati to Vegas. It was a direct flight on United. I'm standing there on the phone for like 10 minutes right there before I check my bag. And when I went to go check my bag, the girl goes, "We can't check your bag. It's 44 minutes. You've been past the cutoff," because Delta's 30. And I was like, whatever. And it was a black chick. She knew who I was, so I'm thinking she's kidding. She goes, "No, I'm serious." I go, "Shut up." Literally, I'm sitting there, and I looked at my watch. I go, "No, literally, if my flight's at 12:30, this was 11:45. It was 11:46. I go, "It's 11:46. She goes, "Yeah, we cut it off at 45 minutes. I wanted so bad to blame her, to say, "Yo, you saw me talking on the phone. You saw me sitting there. Why didn't you say, hey, we're about to make the bag cut off?" It's not her fault. And technically, nobody else was around. Cincinnati is not a busy airport. And I was like, there's no way. So I just couldn't get on the flight. She goes, you can put your bag back in your car. You can still go through security on a flight. You just can't check a bag. And that was just the rules. Now, looking at it, being honest, I'm like, she probably could have let me slide. She probably could have let me in. But nobody did. And then I had to get on a Frontier flight. Frontier, because that was the only thing that could get me to Vegas in time for my show that night. And I just remember I got on the Frontier flight, and the flight attendant said, "Why are you flying Frontier?" When I boarded. "Why are you on Frontier?" I was like, "Ain't this bitch? I never flown Frontier before. I didn't know. I didn't know there wasn't a first. I didn't know you had to pay for everything. You got to pay for water, chips, everything." So I just remember the flight attendant was being so cool. She said, "Come in the back, come in the back." So I took that whole back row. I guess the back row was reserved for the flight attendants. She moved her bags, and nobody was allowed to sit. She let me sit in the back row, so nobody was next to me, so I had a little extra room. And then she laced me with, like, this big bottle of Dasani and this big thing of M&Ms. I said, "Why are you giving me this big stuff?" She goes, "I don't want you talking bad about our airline." And so it was funny because the day started like, dang, I wanted to blame United. I wanted to be mad at them. But if you go by the rules, I was a minute late. The girl was doing her job. Looking back on it, I think they could have let my bag on. It was a minute. And then when I got on Frontier, pleasant experience. Flight attendant was cool. She laced me up with some stuff because it was me. So I think Marlon just got a guy that, my guess is, dude definitely knew everybody knows who Marlon Wayans is. And Marlon's a nice guy. He's not going to start anything. You've never heard him starting arguments or starting shit on flights. And he's a decent human being. So I don't think Marlon went there with the intention of starting anything. I just think he found that guy that, for whatever reason, was holding the line and wanted Marlon to know, I'm running this. You're going to do it my way. But on Marlon's side, first class, they should have had some overhead room for his bags. You can't say there's no more overhead room. No, because I know it's a pet peeve of mine, but when I am in first, I don't like it when the people that aren't in first put their bags up there. They'll board and just put their bags. I'm like, hey. Even if my bags are up there, I'm like, hey. I'd be thinking of the other people in first class. I go, they paid that extra money to have the bag space. So you can't do it. You just can't do it. So that really, I almost become a Karen. I never say nothing, but I'd be looking like, you shouldn't have your bag in the first class overhead bins. Take it to the back by your row, please. I never say nothing, but I'd be looking. Like if I was a white lady, I would be Karen. Can't put your bag there, but I never say that. Oh yeah, this is the one that got me. This is the one time I was like, So I'm flying from Japan back home to Cincinnati, and I'm in Charlotte, but I had to switch airlines. So I had to land. I bought a ticket from Tokyo to Charlotte and then Charlotte to Cincy, but it was a different airline, and I had to get my bags and everything. So I had to literally go through security in Charlotte and like basically act like I'm just rechecking everything. So I had this snow globe that I bought right near Mount Fuji, and it was Mount Fuji, and you shake it, and it was like the Asian anime type characters in it. It was just a dope snow globe, right? And I got it for my daughter, and I was telling her about it. We were Skyping. I was telling her, yo, I got this. And she was looking forward to getting in. And then I go through security after Charlotte. Keep in mind, I had flown all through Japan with this thing. I had flown from Tokyo to Charlotte with it, but now Charlotte to Cincinnati, I'm going through TSA. The lady takes it out of my backpack and says it's too big. Now, I don't know if it was 4 ounces, but she said it was too big. And I go, I'm telling my story like, it's for my daughter. I got in Japan. I've flown all over Japan. I just landed. Look at I'm showing her my tickets. I go, Tokyo didn't stop it. Nobody else did. Customs didn't stop it. And then she goes, I can't help that. And then I just remember I had like a 2-hour layover, and I was so like mad. I asked to talk to her boss, and her boss was like, I can't do it. It's too big. And I don't know if to this day, I don't know if it's too big or not. It wasn't much over 3.3 or 3.4. I know that. But I remember I kept walking by the TSA thing, right? And it just was sitting there on, you know how they got the desk thing when they check people in, they got this little security desk you got to walk by when they check your ID and stuff. It was just sitting there, and the lady was sitting there, and I'm going, this is clearly not a threat. This is because you can't say bomb at the airport. You can't say shit like that. But that's what I wanted to say. I go, if you were really that worried about that snow globe, you'd have it checked for explosives. You'd have it taken apart by now. It's an hour and a half later. It was still sitting there. And I was just, the more I walked by it, the more I just got so freaking heated. Because I kept thinking, she going to take that home. She ain't going to turn that in. So I guarantee you, somebody was that 11 years ago at the Charlotte security TSA desk, they got my snow globe. They got my snow globe. Oh, it's my daughter's snow globe. I was like, and the more I just walked by, it's probably how Marlon feels. You just want to explode, and you don't know what to do. You're so helpless. That was one of the few times as an adult I thought about just swiping it. I've thought about just walking by, bing, and swiping that thing. It just sat there looking at me. I was like, you're clearly not worried about it. So why did you take it out of my backpack and tell me? Oh, man, I was hot. But couldn't do nothing about it. It just sucks. Now, I couldn't say I need everybody to boycott security or boycott TSA. It's just, I understand Marlon's frustration, but nobody's going to boycott United. They're just not. I would put money on Marlon's flying United pretty soon again. I give 6 months. There's going to be a time he has to get somewhere in a timely fashion, and United's the only flight that can get him there. And he might not be happy about flying it, but he will. I mean, there's all the airlines now, you don't have options anymore. So to ask people to boycott an airline, you don't have that many options. You got Delta, United, American are the big three. I'm talking about domestically in the United States. And then you got Southwest. And then I think JetBlue merged with Spirit, or Spirit merged with JetBlue. So your options right now, very limited. You take on one of those airlines, you're going to be on Frontier getting the big Dasanis and M&Ms. I don't want that. So, Marlon, I feel for you, brother. I get it. You got an asshole. But I'm just going to be blunt. Nobody's boycotting United. Even if they say they are, they're not. I'm with you. But I've had great experience with United so far. Knock on wood. I'm probably going to get an asshole this week. And I'm in Kansas City in like 2 weeks. So hit me up, Marlon, and tell me what to look for so I know not to hit that ticket counter with that dude. Remember when I do something, maybe I'll give him a jab or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll say like, hey, you look just like the you look like the girl off White Chicks. The black guy that played the girl. You look like the girl, but you're a guy. But you look like, you look like him. What are you saying? You look like a black guy that would play a white girl in a movie, in White Chicks, as the white girl though. Give me something, Marlon. Give me something to tell him. You got his name? I'll stop by and say hi in Kansas City. All right, man. Enough about that. So this entire podcast was about we're not boycotting United. It's not going to happen. Let's be honest. And I saw people, Marlon was like, I was targeted. And I believe you were. I do. I'm not going to assume it's because of race. Could just be because of jealousy of who you are and you're doing better in life than him. And take that into consideration. Feel good about that. Marlon, your life is probably way better than that guy's. I guarantee you got better. You get to sleep with better looking chicks. You got more money than him. You got a great family. You have an amazing career. Look at you. You're crushing that dude in life. All right? So you're good. You're good. Next time you're sleeping with a beautiful woman, just remember that guy can't. He's never going to have a woman like that. Literally. Just remember that. And next time you're hitting one of these beautiful women from the back, Marlon, say fuck United. Fuck United. Yeah. You're not going to boycott it, but just say fuck United and make you feel good about it. Yeah, make it dark and dirty. Anyways, that got weird. All right, you guys. Again, this weekend I'm in Chicago. We just added a show. Next weekend, I'm in Kansas City where all this shit went down. And I'm flying United. What the fuck? I am. That's what's crazy. I'm flying United to Kansas City. So, I'm not going to change my flight. You must be crazy. I got a good deal on that. And I'm first class. Come on now. But I do think if you're going to be honest with me, if I'm being honest with everybody, Delta's number one. As far as like planes, customer service, everything. Delta's just amazing. And United, to me, is second. And then American's way back there. They're third. I don't fly JetBlue enough to know enough, have that much experience. All I know is Delta's 1, United's 2, and American's 3, other big 3 airlines. To me, in my experience, as far as planes, customer service, and the way they handle business. Delta, United, American. So, anyways. So that's all I got this week. Appreciate you guys listening, and I'll see you next week on the Get Some Podcast.